I have heard people who only by spurs, they were able to be fully in the program because otherwise they were just worried about getting injured because they were in such pain. A lot of meditators only change their lifestyle based on the programs they're going to take.
So you have certain kind of parameters. For example, if somebody asks, how can I assess whether I'm physically, mentally, and emotionally prepared for this program? Are there some kind of parameters that they can look at? For example, being able to sit for an extended amount of time?
So I think first would be that, are you able to sit at least for 2 hours comfortably on the floor? And then is your mind able to deviate from whatever is happening in your body for that amount of time? Because yeah, one can probably push it, right? Yeah, my body, I'll sit and I'll sit and I'll sit. But like I said, if your mind is constantly just focused on what's happening in your body, then we need to start focusing on having your mind, or I guess deviating the focus from your mind somewhere else other than your body. One thing that helped me is just consciously avoiding situations that would put you in a place where you know you were going to break your diet, or let's say your preparation. Let's just not call it something particular, but your preparation. So that's when the commitment comes, right? And it's not an easy thing to do. I'm not assuming that it's easy for you to prepare your body and your mind and, emotionally for such a long period of time for a lot of people, because again, a lot of meditators only change their lifestyle based on the programs they're going to take, right?
If you just made a few lifestyle changes. Oh.
So assuming that a lot of people are doing that, just avoid situations that are going to make you deviate from the preparation process. And then it will be much easier. But if you're still attending the same, let's say, weekend situations, and it's going to be difficult.
A common thing that people are struggling with is to maintain the guidelines when it comes to yoga, Hatha yoga, and Kriya yoga. Some people are saying, what if I don't have time to do yogasanas every day?
In terms of the practices, I think like that's why I said that from the very beginning, right? That was the number one thing I had to mention, because it's the base of your program, which is having to sit. So if you feel like you don't have enough time to do these practices, this may or may not sit well with a lot of people, but you're just not being committed enough. Because if you think that by not practicing or just occasionally practicing, you're going to get through this program with ease, you're mistaken. And I'm being very upfront and very, very raw when it comes to that answer. Because like I said, for me particularly, like just think of it this way. Like, so they say you must be doing this at least 6 months prior, right? But I told you that I had 3 years of practice before I went through this program. And even after the 4th day, I was like, wow, like I'm getting tired. My body is getting tired. I'm uncomfortable. I also lost a lot of weight during the program and in the preparation. So, that's why I say, if you don't have that level of commitment where, okay, I need to practice because I need to prepare, I am stressing that point. You could eat well all you want. If you can sit, then that's not a problem. But the majority of the people, I want to say 99% of the people, have a big problem sitting on the floor for 2 hours. I can sit for Shambhavi and, nothing hurts, Gangesh. Okay, Shambhavi is 21 minutes. And we're talking about 8 days. And so at least this is my experience. And this is why I always try to tell people the reality of what you're going to go through in the program. Yes, it's a blissful experience. It's going to be something that you probably would have never imagined that you could experience. But if you prepare yourself well enough, you can go through it gracefully. I have heard people who only by spurs, they were able to be fully in the program, because otherwise they were just worried about getting injured because they were in such pain, or, their backs just gave up on them. And that's why I'm being a little bit adamant about, as a Hatha yogi, of course, the practice is something that you need to really be more committed about. So if saying that you don't have enough time, you can always wake up a little earlier, right?
Fair point.
And if you have that level of commitment, things will happen gracefully for you. But this is a very delicate topic, actually, talking about family and them being supportive or not supportive. And still today, there may be a lot of friction with certain family members, regardless of how you live. There's always going to be people that agree or disagree with how you live. But if you're noticing that you're going into friction with your family, I think the best thing